Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the stories of influential figures who shape our world for better or worse. Today, we're talking about Charlie Kirk, a name that's been synonymous with conservative activism in America for over a decade. Tragically, as many of you know, Charlie passed away just yesterday on September 10, 2025, in a shocking incident that has the nation reeling. He was only 31 years old, but in that short time, he built an empire of influence through Turning Point USA and beyond. If you're not familiar with his story, buckle up because we're going to walk through his life, his rises, his controversies, and that heartbreaking end, all in a way that feels like we're just chatting over coffee. I'll try to keep it balanced, drawing from what we know about his background, his work, and the impact he left behind. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Charlie Kirk, full name Charles James Kirk, was born on October 14, 1993, right in the heart of the Chicago suburbs, specifically Arlington Heights, Illinois. Growing up in nearby Prospect Heights, he had what seemed like a pretty standard middle-class upbringing. His mom worked as a mental health counselor, helping people navigate their inner worlds, while his dad was an architect designing structures that stand the test of time. It's interesting to think about how those parental influences might have shaped him. Maybe the counseling side gave him a knack for persuasion, and the architecture taught him about building movements from the ground up. As a kid, Charlie was involved in the Boy Scouts of America, and he even achieved the prestigious rank of Eagle Scout, which speaks to his early discipline and leadership skills. Scouts teach you about community, survival, and values, and it's clear that stuck with him as he dove into politics young. By his junior year at Wheeling High School in 2010, he was already volunteering for political campaigns. He threw his support behind Republican Mark Kirk. No relation, by the way, in his successful bid for the U.S. Senate in Illinois. That experience must have lit a fire in him, showing a teenager that politics wasn't just for adults in suits, it was something you could jump into headfirst. Then, in his senior year, Charlie showed his entrepreneurial spirit by launching a campaign against a price hike for school cookies. Yeah, you heard that right. Cookies. It was a small thing, but it highlighted his willingness to challenge authority on everyday issues, rallying his peers and making a point about fairness and economics in a relatable way. Around that time, he penned an essay for Breitbart News, calling out what he saw as liberal bias in high school textbooks. That piece caught some attention and landed him an appearance on Fox Business, which was probably his first taste of national media spotlight. It's fascinating how these early steps set the stage for his future. He was basically training himself to be a voice in conservative circles before he even graduated high school. After high school, Charlie enrolled at Harper College near Chicago, but he didn't stick around long. He dropped out without earning a degree or certificate, influenced heavily by Tea Party activist Bill Montgomery, who encouraged him to pursue political activism full-time. The Tea Party movement was all about grassroots conservatism, fiscal responsibility, and limited government, and it resonated with Charlie. Instead of burying himself in books, he decided to hit the ground running, founding Turning Point USA in 2012 at just 18 years old. TPUSA started as a conservative student organization aimed at promoting free markets, limited government, and traditional values on college campuses. It grew quickly thanks to backing from big donors like Wyoming businessman Foster Frace, who saw potential in this young firebrand. The New York Times once described how Charlie turned TPUSA into a well-funded media machine, complete with initiatives that stirred up plenty of debate. One of the most notable was the Professor Watch List, which aimed to expose and sometimes silence professors who shared views opposing conservative ideals. There was also the School Board Watch List, focusing on local education battles. These tools were controversial, to say the least, with critics accusing them of fostering intimidation, but Charlie and his supporters saw them as necessary to counter what they viewed as left-leaning indoctrination in education. As TPUSA expanded, Charlie became its CEO, chief fundraiser, and public face, roles he held until his death. Under his leadership, the organization ballooned in influence, hosting events, speakers, and campaigns that mobilized young conservatives. By 2020, TPUS's revenues hit $39.2 million, and Charlie's salary had climbed from a modest $27,000 to over $325,000 from TPUSA and related groups. There were investigations, like one from ProPublica, that raised eyebrows about financial practices. Claims of misleading statements, non-independent audits, and personal enrichments, including Charlie buying an $55,000 condo in Florida. But despite the scrutiny, the organization kept growing, launching things like Turning Point Academy in 2021, an online school pushing an America First curriculum to combat what they called anti-American ideas in public education. Partnering with Arizona's StrongMind, they projected massive revenues up to $40 million at full capacity with 10,000 students. It was all part of Charlie's vision to reshape education from the ground up. Then there was Turning Point Action, founded in 2019 as a 501c04 advocacy arm to directly target political opponents. That year, he acquired Students for Trump and all its assets, becoming chairman and kicking off a massive recruitment drive for 1 million student supporters ahead of the 2020 election. Unfortunately, that effort didn't pan out as hoped, with youth turnout for Trump declining, leading to finger-pointing between TPUSA and the Trump campaign. But Charlie didn't slow down. In December 2022, he announced the Mount Vernon project through Turning Point Action, aimed at ousting non-grassroots conservatives from the Republican National Committee. It was a bold move to purify the party from within, aligning it more with populist voices. On the faith front, after his contract wasn't renewed with Liberty University's Falkirk Center in 2021, Charlie launched Turning Point Faith with Pentecostal pastor Rob McCoy. This initiative focused on mobilizing religious communities for conservative causes, with voter drives and embedding TPUSA values in churches. Their 2021 prospectus budgeted $6.4 million to engage thousands of pastors, aiming to revive civic involvement in faith spaces. Charlie's radio show, The Charlie Kirk Show, became a staple for conservative talk, broadcasting his views to a wide audience. His alliance with Donald Trump was unbreakable. He was a key promoter of Trump-aligned causes, speaking at rallies, conventions, and even getting appointed by Trump to the United States Air Force Academy Board of Visitors in March 2025. Charlie addressed the 2016 Republican National Convention, initially lukewarm on Trump, but quickly becoming a staunch supporter, helping with media for Don Jr., and participating in pro-Trump events. By 2019, he was fully on board, leading Students for Trump and shaping the narrative. The New York Times noted how he walked the line between mainstream conservatism and disinformation, especially with his close ties to Don Jr. At a 2020 Council for National Policy meeting, Charlie even joked about Democrats closing campuses during COVID, saying it would hinder their alleged voter fraud, comments that fueled his divisive reputation. He was a member of the CMP's William F. Buckley Jr. Counsel and a spokesperson for its political arm, connecting him to a network of conservative power players. In business, he invested early in 1789 Capital, a fund backing MAGA enterprises, which Don Jr. joined post-2024 election. Leading up to 2024, Charlie's "You're Being Brainwashed" tour hit 25 college campuses, debating students and racking up billions of viral views, credited with boosting Gen Z turnout for Trump. After the win, he advised on cabinet picks, but Charlie's views were often polarizing. He opposed gun control, abortion, and LGBTQ rights fiercely. He criticized the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Martin Luther King Jr., promoted Christian nationalism, spread COVID misinformation, endorsed the Great Replacement theory, and pushed 2020 election fraud claims. Groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center labeled his rhetoric as divisive, racist, and xenophobic, saying it created toxic online environments. Charlie pushed back, insisting disagreement was healthy for democracy. His last rally was in Kentucky with Senate candidate Nate Morris, showing his ongoing commitment. Tragically, on September 10, 2025, during his Prove Me Wrong tour, rebranded as the American Comeback Tour, at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, Charlie was on stage discussing mass shootings. A student asked about the number over the last decade, and Charlie's final words were, including or not including gang violence. Then, around 12:20 p.m. MDT, he was shot in the neck in front of 3,000 people. Rushed to Timpanogos Regional Hospital, he was pronounced dead that afternoon at 31. The FBI is investigating, urging tips from the public. Before his death was confirmed, President Trump called for prayers on Truth Social, condemning political violence. Tributes poured in from politicians across parties, international leaders, celebrities, influencers, and athletes. Trump ordered flags at half-staff until September 14. It's a stark reminder of how volatile our political landscape is. Charlie Kirk leaves a complex legacy, a builder of conservative youth power, a provocateur of debates, and now, a symbol of the dangers in public discourse. Whether you agreed with him or not, his impact is undeniable. He mobilized millions, challenged norms, and fought for his vision of America. In his short life, he authored books, hosted shows, and influenced elections. Tipiuse continues his work, but his voice is irreplaceable. As we reflect on September 11, 2025, let's think about unity amid division. Thanks for watching. Drop your thoughts below. What's your take on Charlie's story? Like, subscribe, and hit notifications for more deep dives. Stay safe out there.